Let me just say up front that my only comments on this matter are twofold. One, I stand by the statement the university issued on Tuesday, and two, that the conduct alleged in the criminal complaint is unacceptable. As far as our team is concerned, and the reason why we're having this press conference, it's time to start the basketball season, and that's going to be our focus. I feel like we built a strong foundation. I feel like we've made progress in our program becoming more competitive. And as we've talked about all summer long, I feel like this team and this roster, because of its experience, its depth, its strength physically, is in position to make a run to the NCAA tournament. Questions?
Bruce, do you consider that to still be the case if 2 players on this team are ineligible?
I feel like this team has got a chance to compete for the tournament. I like the way we've prepared. I like the chemistry. I like the way they're respecting one another. I like the way they're working in the classroom and the way they're working in the weight room. You guys will watch practice today, and I think you're going to see a team that looks a little further ahead than where we would have been had we not returned 70% or so of our scoring, or 65% of our rebounding. That's by far the most I've returned since I've been the coach here. Every year it's been a rebuild by virtue of status of the roster. And this is the first time where we've got a lot of guys back. So I think we'll look better than what we would have looked on September 29th any other year.
Bruce, what's the day-to-day operations, practice, day-to-day operations for Chuck not being here?
We, again, our focus is the players. Our focus is practice and practice plans. I've been, by virtue of the fact that a couple of the areas that we've struggled with the most has been our drop-back defense, our defense, in particular, defensive transition, rebounding. And so I have tried to take through the spring and the summer a lot more ownership, and I've spent a lot more time on that side of the ball myself. So in the sense of any real change, it's sort of just going to continue to be my focus, because I feel like we've got enough guys that can score. But we had a hard time with our floor balance from the offense to the defense, and I think I have to be responsible for that, getting guys back. And if we're going to improve in those areas, I've got to own it.
Will you hire an assistant coach?
It's again, as it relates to any matters involving all that, I'm probably not going to make any more comments on that at this time.
But is everybody practicing today, then?
Yes.
Was there any thought given to delaying the start of practice, given that there's some uncertainty about the status of the players?
No, we hadn't given any thought to practice starts today, and our kids are excited about it, and so we're good to go.
President Lee told ESPN that this coaching staff has identified the 2 players named in the complaint. He just told us an hour ago that they have a pretty good indication as to who they are. Who are the players involved in the complaint?
Again, I can't and I won't have any further comment.
Do you have any concerns about your own job?
Like I said, as I said before now, I can't and I won't have any further comment. I've made my statements, and if you have basketball-related questions, I'd be happy to visit with you. Again, just to repeat, I stand by the university's statement, and the conduct that is alleged in this complaint is unacceptable.
Bruce, under NCAA rules, are you allowed to have a temporary person on the floor or on the bench with you if Chuck's not there? You don't understand what I'm saying?
There have been, like, when we've had either an illness or when there has been when the staff has changed in the past, when there have been changes, there is a mechanism by which you can elevate somebody to the assistant coaching status, and we are in discussions about that.
You said after last season that you felt the program was in really, really good shape, and obviously it's a fair statement then. Do you still think it's a fair statement?
I feel really confident in our players. There are certain things, certain ways you have a barometer on that. We're healthy. We go into the season completely healthy. We are physically much stronger. Our team GPA has never been higher. These guys have worked really hard. There's been a lot of discipline, so I do feel as confident going into this season as any season I've had. I've never, in my 3 years, been in a position where I said, I think I have a team that is good enough to potentially get to the NCAA tournament. I've never said that. Last year, I thought our roster was good enough to get to postseason. I knew it was going to be young, but I still thought we could get to postseason. I never said, or either rarely or I hope to never say the NCAA tournament, because I wasn't sure I could put that on such a young team. When we were the only team in the country that had 4 freshmen as their leading scorers. You know, I didn't know it was going to work that way out, but it's really hard to take 4 freshmen and think they get to the NCAA tournament. And we probably came a couple of games short of the NIT. We had double-digit leads in probably 4 or maybe even 5 SEC games, I'd say, that we did not win. And then, of course, a very difficult tournament loss at the end probably put us 2 or 3 games away from the NIT. You know, so while last year's team made a great deal of progress, and keep in mind that 18 wins was the second most wins in 14 years, and we had some, you know, we were 11-2 in the non-conference. You know, this team's made progress.
Did somebody with the university instruct you not to talk about
Again, as it relates to, my focus on the basketball team and start of practice, and I just don't have any more comments about the everything else.
Have you or any member of your staff, or to your knowledge, compliance, spoken to Vicky or D'Angelo Purifoy?
Again, I don't have any more comments on anything involved in investigation.
This obviously the news this week, pretty widespread, a lot of talk. What was your message to the team, and kind of how did they respond, and how did they come to you as a coach?
Our focus is the start of practice and just how we want to try to play. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? And just try to stay together from that standpoint. You know, they can't worry about what they can't control. They got to continue to focus on their books and their basketball, and that's really been our focus. Okay, guys, I'll take 2 more.
Did you reach out to families? I mean, given the issues surrounding it, did you try to reach out and talk to them and reassure them? I mean, this is a violation of trust. Do you reach out proactively and try to talk to them and answer their questions about it?
We try to make good communication with our families and recruits, and I would say that we just tried to be as much as we possibly could as far as our communication available, and try to be as much as we could business as usual.
To the
somebody who's been in this
respect, Bruce, is the word unacceptable a word that really describes your personal feeling?
Again, I can't.
You've been betrayed by one assistant.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate it, and I recognize and I do respect the job that you guys have to do. And what I would ask is just the reason why we're having this press conference right now is really it's the start of practice. And that's what my focus is going to be. And so because I'm not going to be answering any more questions about matters that are relating to this, if you have any more basketball questions, I'll answer them. If you don't, I can't.
To the future, Bruce, what is your message to recruits? You've lost a commitment in your 2018 class. What is your message to recruits? Why should any player come here, and to fans who have already exchanged their season tickets, why should fans buy tickets to support this program?
I'm not, again, that involves in commenting something as it relates to where we are right now. If your question's involving the start of practice and our basketball team, I'd be happy to answer them. Yes?
Coach, you said this team, you're confident this team can make the NCAA tournament. How much would that mean to this program this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's to any program, it still matters. You know, when I was at Southern Indiana, I made it 9 straight years. I still got chills up and down my spine every time they called out our name. When I was at Tennessee, we made it 6 years in a row. It's same way. So now the fact that we haven't been there since 2003, it may be more historic and it might be a little bit more special. We got a lot of work to do to get there. We certainly would, but obviously it would mean a great deal if we could continue. Again, we got a very strong foundation, and I feel like this team has got a chance. Okay, thanks guys.